Deuteronomy 4:29. But from there you will seek the Lord your God, and you will find him if you search after him with all your heart and with all your soul. The Lord's call on his people has never changed. What he said to Moses then and what he says today is the same. Seek the Lord. But somehow this simple phrase gets complicated. So at the risk of sounding grade school educated, let me break it down. Seek the Lord with all your heart, with all your soul, with your life, with your job, with your marriage, with your finances, with your children, with your home. On behalf of this church, on behalf of this city, on behalf of the nation, seek the Lord. You see, if God is who he says that he is, then he has done what he said that he has done, which means that Jesus Christ is the risen Son and that he sits enthroned as the sovereign one, king over his kingdom. And if God is who he says that he is, then I am who he says that I am, which means that I was purchased and covered through the sacrifice of the Lamb. That when God the Father sees me, he sees white, shining into the darkness, the glory of his light, warring in battles while victorious in the fight. He looks on me and sees his own Son that laid down his life. And when demons see me, they see red, because I've been bought with the blood that Jesus shed. I'm a marked man who the enemy wants dead, but Jesus paid the ransom that was placed upon my head. So for the believer, black, brown, or white, we are the same. God created us all equal. We are his chosen race. But we get so distracted by temptations that sit right in front of our face that we begin to discredit our future that has been given to us through God's grace. And when we become impatient of where the Lord has us in this time and place, our passions get off course, our desires become misplaced, and pride begins to take root in our hearts, and this is deadly. His ways have to be our heartbeat. His desires have to be our breath. For our misplaced desires give birth to sin, and sin brings forth death. That's why I'm tired of playing games. How many end-of-the-road signs do I have to see before I start following his ways? How many empty words will I put to melody before I start singing his praise? See, I'm tired of playing games. I try to remember what I brought to the table. See, I was weak, wounded, and disabled, diseased, defeated, and unstable, a rabid beast dressed up in sheep's wool. My eyes were veiled by this present prince of darkness. I had buzzards circling, just waiting to feast upon my carcass, and that's just the start. My situation was looking dim, but I was content as I watched myself dying in my sin. I was my own end, my own God. God of a world where satisfaction came from temporary sensations, where decisions were based on the latest temptations, where happiness and pleasure were my only salvation. I was a cheap imitation, but God. You see, when the Lord moves, he moves in such a way that the things we found so satisfying, he quickly takes away, and just as quickly as he is faithful to graciously replace with a desire for a Savior who will never go away, who has never led us astray, the author and sustainer of our days, the King who stood in our place. So seek him, for he is worthy. This life is but a vapor in comparison with eternity, so with all your heart and with all your soul, seek the Lord. I pray that genuine prayers mark this generation, and as sons and daughters of God, that we lift high the name of our salvation with the death of Jesus Christ being our proclamation, that we preach the Son of God, Savior to the nation.